that the way we measure our distance to the sun is to, well,
take a derivation of a flat Earth radial value and then take Kepler's ideas of orbital motion and Huygens' ideas that the Venus trajectory has a scaling use because Venus has the same radial value as Earth had when deriving that measurement with the equatorial minimum by way of an elevation angle measurement to Polaris on a flat Earth. That is the history of your distance to the sun. It's all a charade, my friend. It's all a big joke. Yeah? But the joke's on you, not me.
With Russia every single day.
Yep.
That's pretty fascinating how two groups that are spending billions of dollars to
hoax the world.
I have a question. I don't know if you know the answer to this. I suspect you probably do, though. I know that the way we measure our distance to the sun is to, well,
take a derivation of a flat Earth radial value and then take Kepler's ideas of orbital motion and Huygens' ideas that the Venus trajectory has a scaling use because Venus has the same radial value as Earth had when deriving that measurement with the equatorial minimum by way of an elevation angle measurement to Polaris on a flat Earth. That is the history of your distance to the sun.
Well, the first way it was done was to, observe a transit of Venus from two different places on...
No, that's what Huygens did much, much later. You are ignorant of your own bloody rhetoric.
Earth. But I couldn't possibly explain to somebody how you actually do that. Do you know?
Because you don't understand the story or the rhetoric or Kepler. Because all of those came before Huygens. But you don't know how Huygens observed the light traversing the sky, occulting the sun. That's all it is. It's the transit of Venus. It's a little tiny dot moving past the sun. How complicated can it be? You don't know how he did it? It doesn't matter how he looked at it and observed it. What matters is he assumed that light had the same radial value as Earth when measured as a flat plane. That's the actual crux of the important bit. The assumption that Venus has the same radial value, so he can apply that radial value for Venus, Earth's twin, to Kepler's orbital motions, which don't have any scale. You don't have anything to give you scale until you make an assumption, which is precisely what Huygens did. You just don't know your own rhetoric. You're way over your head with this stuff, Planet Peterson. You're so ignorant of your own stupid rhetoric, it's untrue. You got to ask Bob about it. Pathetic.
Oh, how that measurement is done?
It was done in terms of the distance to the moon by Aristarchus of Samos. And I've got two videos on my channel about all of the geometry that he developed 2,300 years ago that actually works. The only reason he came up with the wrong answer is his measurements weren't accurate enough.
Sorry. Am I hearing this right? The reason he came up with the wrong answers? What the hell? Let's see if Peterson catches that.
So we can determine the distance to the sun that way. The second...
The wrong way? Is this processing? Are the cogs turning in Peterson's head or what?
Way we determine the distance to the sun is that they assume that Venus...
He's not detailing what the measurements are. Have you noticed that? They won't even talk about the measurements anymore. They'll allude to them, but they won't try to describe them as angle measurements anymore, will they?
No, but he's not even describing what Huygens did, though. He's describing something completely ancillary to that. So at the end of this, the question is, basically, how did Huygens take his measurement? Would you not say that that's a succinct rendition of what Peterson actually asked? Is he getting an answer to that question? Like, at all? Not, is he diverting around the question because it's awkward because it's angles off a flat plane? Yeah, I get your point. But he's not even answering that, is he?
No. It's like we make a gun shy about measurement now.
The same size as the Earth and use the angular size because they knew the relative distance between Venus. Well, they knew that Venus, I think, is what, 0.72 or 0.78 astronomical units from the sun, and we're 1 astronomical unit from the sun, to kind of get an idea based on angular size about how far the sun is.
So based on Kepler's astronomical units after you've derived the distance by getting an AU? That's the process, isn't it, Bob? It sounds like Bob doesn't actually know this process. He sounds like he's bullshitting around it.
So you can use that distance between Earth and Venus.
Or what distance? You've got to infer the distance through Kepler and his scale, and the way you can get an actual value is by inserting a presuppositional value for the scale that you're going to use with Venus. Angular size won't give you distance. You need to either know the distance or know its actual size. That's what you need. And you don't have either, Bob, do you?
And it was actually pretty accurate.
No. It won't give you anything. There's no accuracy by way of just looking at the size of something by way of its angle. That doesn't give you anything. You either need to know its actual size to begin with or its actual distance. And you don't have either. Huygens assumed Venus had the same size as Earth. Do you not know this, Bob? Why is it I, the flat earther, have got to actually fill you in on your rhetoric? He made a, and I quote, ingenious assumption. That's how it's documented, Bob. Huygens' ingenious assumption that Venus had the same spherical R value as Earth. Why haven't you told Peterson that? Are you withholding this, or are you just ignorant, Bob?
But that was based on a...
It just doesn't tell him. Come to clarify how it will prove for sphere Earth, you said we could either use flat Earth trig or we could use spherical trig. But then you've gone on to deny triangles.
No, there's no triangle. No, there's no triangle.
Got a question there, Bob-a-Rooney. If there's no triangle, bum sniffer, then why do we need to use trigonometry, which is the study of triangles?
I don't get the... I seriously don't get the mentality that would do this. It's humiliating for you.
Turn out the lights.
Double speaking, pretender clown space monkey.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end.
Ballers scattered on dawn's highway bleeding. Fallacies and refravity crowd their fragile eggshell minds.
So what's trig? For the audience's benefit, this dumbfounded silence is what you get when you become a fundamentalist religious zealot chanting about measuring angles on a curved surface.